Hi, I'm Sally Foley-Lewis, and I am a productive leadership thought leader and expert, and I run a practice helping people to boost their productivity and their self-leadership. And I'm gathered with some amazing experts today because we wanted to share with you some of our experiences of working with Jane Anderson on her program Cut Through Collaterals. It has been an amazing mix of information and learning what our communication and our messages should be with getting down and getting it done. And I've loved that experience totally the whole way through. And I've been quite fortunate to be mentored by Jane over the last few years and have found her to be nurturing, but also holding you to account, which has been really cool. And I thought it would be nice just for you to hear about some of the experiences we've had, some of the expectations that we had going into the program, and what has actually happened for each of us. So I'd like to welcome Djana and Samantha into this video, and I'm going to head over to Djana first. So Djana, tell us who you are, what you do, and what's been your experience, your outcomes, your expectations from Cut Through Collaterals. Thanks, Djana.
Thanks, Sally. Well, I'm Djana Adams. I'm a female entrepreneur coach and a life and business transition expert. I got to know Jane when I joined her content creation bootcamp last year and leveraged off that to join her Cut Through Collaterals program because I wanted to amplify my message and marketing in my business programs for entrepreneurs. So the difference it's made to my thinking and my business is basically just transformed the way I do things. It's helped me clarify how to best design and market my business offerings. It's been hugely beneficial in helping me realise the power in creating excellent collaterals, as well as because Jane's such an action taker, it's helped me to accelerate the pace at which I work. And also, Sally, being part of this community, which is filled with positive, supportive action takers, is absolute gold. And Jane's helped me in so many ways. She's incredibly encouraging to work with. She's unfailingly generous in the way she shares her time, expertise and resources with everyone in her programs. She's helped me move from being a thinker to an action taker and being much more confident in the way I do things, and made me realise I've actually got an amazing business, and she's just helped me leverage that. She's such a delight to work with, and I really recommend her to anyone who wants to take action and work with a wonderfully experienced and encouraging mentor.
Fantastic. Thanks, Djana. I appreciate your input. And we're just actually welcoming also Djana into our group to share her insights. But what I'll do is I'll go over to Sam in just a minute. And while we're waiting for Djana to come in, what I'll do is just leave you, when I first saw this program come up, I thought, holy moly, there were so many topics. But when I read through those topics, it was like, yes, yeah, oh yes, yeah, oh yes, yes. So every time I read a topic, it's like, that's exactly what I needed. So Jane really had her finger on the pulse of what we as experts need to be making sure our messaging is clear about, and making sure that we are getting those messages out there in the right format, in the right way. So I'm going to head over to Sam now. Sam, please introduce yourself. And if you could share also with us, what were your expectations from going into the program versus what you've got out of it? Thanks, Sam.
No worries. So I'm Samantha Leith. I'm an expert in confidence and charisma, pretty much. So I speak and I coach about all things that make you shine, whether that's in business or life. I've worked with Jane on and off for about nearly 18 months now. I've worked with her privately as well as doing programs. And when she first sent through Cut Through Collaterals, I was like, oh God, that's all the stuff I keep thinking I know I have to do, but I don't do, and I get distracted by a bright shiny object. And we're just as COVID kind of hit, and I was like, stuff had been cancelled, and I was like, I really have no excuse. This is the perfect opportunity to do those really strategic pieces and add them to my business rather than having them on that list that just keeps growing of things I'm going to get to when I'm not so busy. And what I loved about the program is that strategic brain of Jane's. Like, she knows, because her practice is as it is, that this is the thing you need. This is how you do it. Now let's do it. And she does it all in a delightful, colourful, sparkly way, which I just adore. and has no qualms about, with a smile on her face, telling you that maybe what you're doing at the moment just might not be the right idea and you need to tweak it a little bit. And then there was a supportive group that all joined in on that. So the bouncing of ideas within the group, but no, I'd say frivolity, but that's possibly the wrong word. No, like, added stuff. Like, we really just, within Cut Through Collaterals program, did what needed to get done. And having that time and space, which Jane is an expert at doing, through her Pomodoro technique, etc., is like, we're going to have this time and you're going to get it done. So I've come out of that program with a beautifully clear model that I've spent probably a year trying to perfect. And now I'm really, really happy with it. I've got new sales pages that I've done. I've got offers that I've got to my clients, my ebooks done, all these things that just kept chugging along are now actually done without any bells and whistles that, or additional things I didn't need to do. So yeah, do it. If you need to get stuff done, do this.
Yeah, fantastic. I totally agree, Sam. Thank you for your insight.
No
and
worries.
I back you up with, Jane knows how to quite literally cut through, and the pun is intended and not intended, but it was a way, but she knows you're so right, aren't you? Like, when we were on these group sessions, we could ask anything, and she's quite okay about saying, you know what, that doesn't matter right now. What you need to be doing is this. And how about you look at it this way? And the other little light bulb I had throughout the process was that as we're creating a piece of communication, she says to you, you've got to make sure you have this, this, and this. And then you think, why didn't I think of that? Because she's the expert, you know. She is a communication specialist, and we're all experts in our own area of expertise. That's why we go to Jane for the communication expertise. So yeah, thanks, Sam. Look, it's an absolute pleasure to also introduce Djana onto our little video today. Djana, please introduce yourself and tell us how Jane has helped you and what's been some of the results or outcomes you've had from Cut Through Collaterals.
Yes, well, hello everyone. It's good to see you. I'm Djana O'Brien, and I'm co-founder and director of our business, which is Djana, and we're a consulting service that operates nationally, Australia-wide, to the construction industry. And our area of expertise is very blokey sort of stuff. It's electrical, road infrastructure, and we deal with managed motorways. So most of our work is with government and commercial. So I've known Jane for probably a couple of years now and dabbled around the edges of a few things that she's been doing. But I suppose what attracted me to Cut Through Collaterals was the timing, absolutely. When we entered COVID, you know, our business really was struggling at the time. And it was just that perfect opportunity, like we were saying, that you kind of always wish when you're in the thick of it that you could stop your business for a moment in time and get this whole list of stuff done that you've been wanting to do in the background. I was a little bit overwhelmed when I first read the Cut Through Collaterals sort of list of topics and program. I was just straight away, I just went, that is a phenomenal amount of content. And my first go-to thought was, if I haven't been able to do that in the last 2 years, how am I going to do this in a month? I was just fully entrusted in the process with Jane. I knew from previous works that I'd done with Jane in the past that it would be very hands-on and practical. And I knew that the group that we would be interacting with would be part of that process as well, together with Jane. So for me, what's really important is that I have access to people from different industries, because it allows me to think outside the box. But it was a really practical program, and the thing I got the most out of it, the biggest learning, was the connection between all of the collateral. So I think previously where I was going wrong was I was trying to do all of these things in isolation of each other. And so my marketing wasn't talking to my customer communication, and that wasn't talking to some business documents and even into processes. So very, very beneficial. And the group was fabulous. The added bonus for me and the biggest insight I got to was the access to resources. So all those things as a group that we talked about along the way, hey, has anyone read that book? Or hey, did you know that you could use this service or that tool? Or you know this thing's free? Or those are the added bits of value that just padded up the Cut Through Collaterals program significantly for me. So
Thanks.
extremely valuable. As a result of it, coming out of it, I have probably, haven't completed all of it, but I've definitely got to 50 to 60% of it, and we're already seeing so much benefit in various parts of the business. And for me, the biggest bonus has been my interaction with the customers. That has been huge. So that communication content piece that you have through content, testimonials, marketing, it's just lifted, and the white papers, it's just lifted the conversation level with the customers, and it's allowed us to have, meaningful is the wrong word. It's not even a deeper, it's just, it's a more relevant conversation with your customer that you haven't been able to have before. It's been a bit more about, we provide a service, you buy from us. It's moved it away from that into a different sort of dimension. So that's been invaluable for me. Yeah.
Thanks, Djana. What I'm hearing is that having that continuity, or that thread that joins everything together, has helped in so many ways. And one of those, and only one of the many ways, is that you've moved. Now, this is my language, not yours, but you moved from transactional to relational a lot more with your clients. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for that. I'm going to head over now to the wonderful Kelly Glover. And Kelly, please, we've only got a couple minutes left, so please introduce yourself, and if you can share what were you expecting from the program going into Cut Through Collaterals, and where are you at now with it? So over to you. Thanks, Kelly.
So I'm actually doing the program for the second time with Jane, because I found at the beginning there were so many pieces and I needed to understand how they fit together. So it was the actual, what do you do? How do you do it? What is it? And then how do they fit together as a whole? Because each individual piece, yes, it will change your business, it will change your message, but also how do they fit together? So you can put all the pieces, it really is part of a jigsaw. So if there's a piece missing, you can see that there's a piece missing. And I think the thing is that it clarifies your own message. And Jane has a really great way of asking you questions, not telling you what to do. So she will ask you a question that makes you think about it and answer it for yourself. So she's not telling you, you need to write this. She's asking you the questions so you can figure it out. And she really gets in your brain to where things that she said have woken me up in the middle of the night, and I've gotten up at 1:30 in the middle of the night, watched some of her curriculum, and then done some work. And that's
Fantastic.
true. I don't really think I've done a course before where I've gotten up at 1:30 because I cannot get what the person has said out of my brain and I need to take action.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Kelly. And just to wrap it up, I'm going to ask you to think of what's one word that sort of sums it all up for you about your experience of working with Jane or going through the Cut Through Collaterals program. So I'm going to ask Sam first, if you can share your one word. You're on mute, Sam. I'm sorry about that.
I would say expert.
Expert.
If Jane tells you she can do something, she's an expert in it.
Awesome. Thank you. And Jean, over to you. You're also, yep, you're unmuted.
Transformational.
Repeat that word.
Transformational.
Love it. Fantastic. Awesome. And Djana, over to you.
I'm going to go with insightful.
Insightful. Love it. Yeah. Kelly?
I will say action, because so many courses and programs we do, we get the learning and don't do it. But this, you have evidence from action that you've taken, so you can actually do things.
Yeah,
action.
Fantastic. Love it. Love it. And they're all great words, which I want to cheat and take, but I would add to those words generous as well. Thank you everyone for coming on. We just want to really just give you a sense of how we've experienced Cut Through Collaterals as a program. If you are a thought leader, you're a coach, you're a speaker, a facilitator, if you are a subject matter expert, look at Cut Through Collaterals. It has changed the way we do our business, or change the way we run our practice. And as you've heard from everyone, it's been an absolute huge valuable investment in ourselves and in what we do. So thank you, and bye for now.